Barry.
Just me being me, I made I have a video of it, but we're kind of out of time. But basically, it's like a shuttlecock with 12 segments to it.
You made a
The free diameter is 2 1/8 inches.
So you made a collet
cover diameter down to 1 3/4. It you can see it's got a taper to it, and the first 3/4 of an inch of this is tapered. So it goes in there, and then you run a 3/8 threaded rod through your tail, through your headstock, and tighten it up with the wing nut on the back, and it compresses on down.
Very cool.
That is. That's great.
What kind of wood is
a
that?
video, but we're out of time here. A little 2-minute video of it.
We got 2 minutes.
Ball in it.
We got 2 minutes. Bring it up. It's a 5-up. Bring it up.
What kind of wood is the collet part made out of?
The housing is Baltic birch plywood. The shuttlecock, if you will, is made of cherry. I happen to have a piece of cherry that big.
Okay.
So I avoided gluing. It was a prototype, and I'm pretty happy with how it worked out. There's the components, and then we have this video here. You can see it compressing the fingers as it draws it in. But because of friction, you have to slam a butt or a hammer or something into the shaft to knock it back free.
Is there a taper in there once it's fully closed, or is it does it stay cylindrical, or what's exactly the shape inside?
It was cut straight at a 2 1/8 inch diameter, mainly because that's the biggest size hole saw Forstner bit I have. So it's bored about 1.5 inches deep with a 2 1/8. And so as it closes down, the narrowest point is right at the mouth, and it gets slightly bigger because of the taper as it goes back.
So if you had made that by pulling it fully small and then doing the final size of the hole, it would be cylindrical at its small size.
I tried that on a previous one, keyword here, previous, like 2 days ago, and it chattered too much. The fingers, the lobes of they chattered too much, and you get tear out on the backside.
How did you cut your grooves going down the shuttle?
With a router.
In the lathe.
I put an indexing disc on my lathe, and I have a little laminate trimmer set up at the height of the bed to the center line, so I can cut flutes.
Yep.
Wow.
Very
interesting.
Amazing.
And then finally, I have a pencil line marked on this maple disc at 1/2 the diameter. So it's been chucked up in there. You can see it runs. I'm very happy with how concentric, how little run out it had. And alternate inserts could be made that would, still using the same housing, but that would take it from like the 1 3/4 down to 1.5 or something. You just have to make a shuttlecock that would fit over that range.
Does the plywood socket screw onto the headstock, or is it on a faceplate? What's going on back there?
Yeah, it's on a faceplate. You can barely see the faceplate back there. It's on a 3-inch. It's a 3-inch diameter PSI faceplate.
So you didn't try to thread it right onto the headstock spindle.
I did with the thread tracer that you loaned me, John, and I guess I didn't take enough time to get. You have to also get the base of your mount very square.
Yeah.
That just the threads, although they held tight, it wasn't going up square against a face, and so it had. When I turned it true, unmounted and remounted, it had about a 1/16 of an inch eccentricity to it.
This is probably better.
Yeah, I could improve on it, but yeah, these metal face plates from PSI are like $9 a piece, I think, and I bought a bunch of them a couple of years ago.
And how many slots are in the shuttlecock?
Well, it's made from one piece. You know, it's a cylinder. It's like a 3-inch diameter cherry cylinder that I bored, turn the taper, and then let me go back to my.
No, is it 12 slots or 16? I can't tell.
It's 12.
Well,
I made one out of cocobolo at first that had 8 lobes, and it worked fine, but the one lobe split off. That wood is so stiff that I had to keep turning it successively thinner so that I could bend without getting into heavy duty wrenching or anything. I want to be able to hand tighten it. And the one lobe broke off. And so cherry is not an ideal candidate by any means, but I happen to have a piece laying around. I don't know what qualities I should look for in wood that would allow a lot of flexibility. And
ash. Try
ash.
ash. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to use oak, and I had some, but I'd have to glue it up. And the same with ash. I don't have any. My ash that I have is like 1 inch, so I'd have to glue several layers together.
The other question, Barry, is because the ring or the shuttlecock is held so thickly, so closely, do you really need it to have that thickness? I mean, can you make them? They look like they're about through what, half an inch? Can they be a quarter of an inch and still work as well in centering?
Yeah, the limit on that I see on making the fingers of the shuttlecock is actually once they get down to.
We lost your sound, Barry.
Whole thing froze.
That's a terrific chuck.
It is.